Welcome to the Louie Herron podcast, where I'm going deep into business, sales, leadership, and life. And I mean life, from the boardroom to the bedroom, from business acquisitions to personal addictions, from being saved yet still feeling like a slave, from manning up to mousing out, dealing with divinity to reality. This podcast is dedicated to growth, learning, inspiration, and healing. Jump in, hang on, and hang out. You'll never know which topic I'll tackle next. But one thing's for certain, I'm here to share my experiences, strengths, failures, and hope, all to help us live life at the highest level we can. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Louie Herron. Another week. I'm excited to bring to you today some information I think is going to be transformative. We've got a week that has gone behind us now as we approach the new week. Question for you: course correction time, focusing on expansion, right? Not perfection, trying to get better every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. And today, I'm going to talk about some things that I think are going to be highly beneficial. But before I do that, real quick, I want to let everybody know just a quick thank you. Those that are listening to the podcast, those that have subscribed, those that have shared, means the world to me. Obviously, building a podcast, getting things going, when you know you have transformative information, when you know you love people, you love God, you want to try to serve the world, you want to try to give the best version of yourself, not only to yourself, but you also want to give it to others, and again, I think the podcast is fantastic. I'm working hard on really the most important thing is to try to give of myself to those that are closest to me. You can't change the world, you can't change a community if you can't change a household, right? If you can't change, your relationships that mean the most, your family. And we always talk about body, being, balance, and business. And those are the four quadrants I always like to focus on. But again, you're talking about your being, and your balance is your relationships, and being the best version of yourself is critical. So again, I want to thank you guys, those that are listening, and continue to share, subscribe, and actually, if you wouldn't mind, if you have a podcast that really resonates with you, comment, and give me a review. Would love to read them and see what your feedback would be, and also if there's any content that you'd like to hear. Last week we talked about alcohol. Alcohol is a sensitive subject. A lot of people struggle with that. There's a lot of types of sedation that we do to numb and try to escape what we're feeling. Because in the end, that's what we want to do. Is we want to feel better. We don't want to feel pain. We don't want to feel the feelings that we're feeling, so we distract. And so hopefully you got a lot out of that. This week we're talking about 6 things that I urge you to stop doing now. So in efforts of growing, getting better, expanding, these are 6 things that I think really, um, you know, I wouldn't have come up with them if I hadn't struggled with them in my life, right? So I think they're important because the podcast is business, sales, leadership, and life's lessons. So again, a lot of my coaching that I do, I cover a lot of these things. Again, remember my business experience in owning a dealership and operating many facets of that business for a long period of time present many opportunities for me grow personally, expand personally, and actually teach me a lot of lessons. And then in a lot of my coaching that I do, that's kind of the basis I come from. It's my own experience as well as the successes I've had and some of the failures, things that I think we should stay away from that are not going to be prohibitive. And today, 6 things you should stop doing right now is going to be critical. Again, remember, it's not always about the business plan, but in most cases, it's about the businessman. That's what helps us max out our life and our business, right? Or businesswoman, right? So if anyone's interested or knows anyone that would like to receive some coaching or anything that I can do to help them out, we're always interested in doing so. You simply can DM me directly to the Heron Auto Group, which is on almost every social media platform. And if there's any way I can do to help somebody, I'd love to. So my question is, what areas does the businessman need to improve, right? So obviously this is kind of a men's podcast, and now I do have some female listeners, so I think we all can grow from it. But we're talking specifically about like what do we need to do to get better? And in the car business, many of you know this because you either bought a car or some of you are familiar with the car industry. We do many appraisals on trade-ins, right? And when we look at a car, we look at the miles, the condition, how it drives, and then we place a value on it. That's how we appraise a car. We look at the miles, the condition, how it drives, and then we place a value on it. So, with that being said, I'm suggesting that many of us need to start doing some appraisals on ourselves. Now, this requires some quiet time. So, really look at your miles. Look at your miles. Look at your condition, and look at how you drive, and then put a number on it. You know, scale it out 1 to 10. 10, it's phenomenal. One, it's awful. We hit a lot of cars that are 15 years old for $1. Believe it or not, 100. They're rough, rough. We got all kind of acronyms and jokes for when we see a rough car. The question is, are you rough? What does your miles look like? What does your condition look like? Externally, you may look okay, but internally, what's the condition? The mental condition, the spiritual condition, the things that matter most. What is your relational condition? Things that you need to work on. All of us need to work on. So again, I really believe in addition by subtraction. I mean, I think adding one more thing to the pile sometimes can be harder when we're trying to improve our lives. So I think when I'm talking about stop doing some things, we're trying to really subtract some things, therefore adding more value to what we're doing. And again, when these things happen, you know, when we're doing these things, these 6 things, they keep pulling you down, they're pulling you away from your purpose, your power, your perspective, and obviously your profits in your business, right? So, okay, let's get right to it. Number 1 thing we need to stop doing right now. When I say we, I don't have a mouse in my pocket. We means me, means all of us. Um, so when any message that I give, I'm speaking to myself as much as I am to you guys because it's important and critical. And I've got to practice what I preach. And I got one on here in particular that just kicks my ass that I'm going to share with you. We need to stop doing, and I have no choice. I have to stop doing. So, and I'll get to that in a second. But the first one is stop spending time with weak people. Weak people are always going to pull you down before you can pull them up. Now, some of you may think you're, Tony Robbins, or you've got the great, mojo to lift everybody up, and I probably think I fall in that category. But the bottom line is, if I hang around too many weak people, it's going to pull me down. Okay, look, think about it like this: in life, there are workers and there are coasters, right? There are people that coast, and then there are people that work. And the people who work on and make and create change in themselves, I'm not talking about the perfect person. I'm not talking somebody who's weak, who has made a mistake, or they're not consistent, but they're working on it. To me, that's a worker. I mean, I'm not going to placate or make excuses for somebody because I can jump in that category every now and again, right? If you make commitments to yourself, you need to have integrity and keep the commitments you make with yourself, and that's what really helps us all expand. But I don't wanna hang out with coasters, and coasters are the people that listen to content and things that I'm saying and scoff at it, laugh at it, like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever, whatever." That's a coaster, man. I don't want that to me is a weak person. I don't wanna hang with weak people, right? And again, you can see this in the workplace. This has become a real big problem, right? Because you think about it, if you're the owner of your business, or you're a leader, or you're a sales manager, or a general manager, or you're the operator, and you obviously you're there for a reason. More than likely, you're not a weak person. And when I mean weak, I'm talking about mentally weak, weak resilience, weak disciplines, weak fortitude, weak capacity to handle more, learn more, grow more, get more, be more, do more, have more. That is not a weak person. That's a person who's going after it. And again, when you look at the workplace, you could be surrounded by some weak people. If you're a leader, you may have to trim out some of the fat, some of the weak guys, because again, the weak people pull everyone else down. Again, not brain surgery, but number one is stop hanging out or spending time with weak people. Okay. And I think we need to be really ruthless in really managing our time, our energy, and the people that we surround ourselves with. Remember, again, our time, our energy, and the people we spend our time with. We got to be ruthless and really analyze and appraise those scenarios. Let's go to number two. Number two, stop trying to impress people. Look, here's the deal. 80% don't care and 20% is glad it's you. They really and truly, most people don't really care. We spend the time, we as in us, all spend time on social media. We got colleagues, friends, associates, people that we kind of know, but we don't know very well. And we watch their lives and their filters and all this kind of thing. Look, it could be super easy to try to impress people, but the stress and relief when you don't give a fuck anymore about what people think. And that's a work in process for a lot of people, myself included, is like, it's hard not to try to care, someone's perspective but every time I do this, it throws me out of authenticity. It throws me out of alignment. It throws me out of my truth because I'm trying to impress or impress upon somebody something that comes from a deeper root, right? If you're an individual that wants to impress people, you got to look and say, okay, pen to paper, where's this coming from? Okay, because the most important person to impress is you. Think about that for a minute. When was the last time you looked at you and said, "Damn, yeah, I'm impressed." Was good. When was the last time you literally looked at yourself in the mirror and said, "Man, I am freaking impressed. Good job, Louie. I'm impressed." Most people don't talk to themselves that way. I have moments where I don't talk to myself that way, but what could you be impressed about? I don't know, how you handled a certain situation. Maybe it was a deal you worked your tail off to close. You finally got it closed. Man, be impressed, man. Great fucking job, dude. Great job. Right? Maybe you hit the cover off the ball with your spouse, your partner. I mean, you freaking just crushed it. And she is just like, man, that was nice. That was good. I mean, be impressed, with yourself. Don't worry about the other people. I mean, be impressed with the commitments you keep to yourself. You're working on something, you're 60, 90, 120, you're 6 months, you're 2 months, whatever the case may be, you're working and you're keeping the commitments to yourself. Man, be impressed with you. Give yourself a pat on the back. Maybe you're eating better, doing some things or getting in the gym. Be impressed with yourself. I mean, and a nice way to do this is, what would your future self be impressed with you? What would your future self be impressed with by you? Write it down. Write it down. But number 2 is, stop trying to impress others. Number 3, stop asking for permission. Simple things. And man, I have done this, especially in my personal relationships. You ever had the conversation of, "Hey, where you want to go to eat? What do you want to eat? I don't care. What do you want? I don't know." I mean, look. I mean, the bottom line is, you're the man. Lead, lead. This whole permission thing. Something as simple as, "Where do you want to eat?" Number one, I've been there, right? But at the same time, it's very, I mean, very unattractive, not only to your partner, but other people who look up to you and they see you as weak. It's unattractive. Like like you're a man, you don't need permission. I mean, when you were a kid, what did you do? When you were a kid, when you were a boy, you got permission because you needed to get permission, right? You had parents and people guiding you and so forth. You couldn't make those decisions. You had to get permission. You're not a boy. I'm not a boy. If you find yourself always asking for permission, you're reducing yourself from a man to a boy. That's approval seeking, validation driven personality. I can clearly understand from some of the healing work that I've been doing and continue to do, of me having that issue. Remember, if you have a position where you're looking for somebody else to validate you, then you now also give them permission to invalidate you. Think about that, right? So again, when we do this, when we're asking for permission, we're actually delegating our power to someone else. And quite frankly, someone else may not want the power, right? Those of you that are married, I'm sure you would probably agree. You may have a strong, strong personality in your partner, in your wife, spouse. You may. At the same time, I guarantee you, she doesn't want to handle everything. She doesn't want everything on her shoulders. She's already got the kids, she got this, she's got that, she got this, she's got that, and I'm sure she's already told you, "Dude, step up, step up, step up. I don't wanna make every decision. I need help. I need support. I need you to move. I need you to make a move." I've fallen into that trap and still have to watch that trap. It is tough, but again, number 3 is, stop asking for permission. Number 4, stop creating imaginary problems, man. I mean, in other words, stop complaining about problems that may exist, but they do not exist right now. Think about that for a second. How many times do you have this scenario sickness? We don't even have the experience going on right now. It's probable, or it could happen, and we're already worried sick about it. We're already taking up our bandwidth anticipating it. Man, it hadn't happened yet. But yet our bandwidth is like all consumed by it. We're all in it. Again, if it doesn't exist right now, don't fabricate and create this. I mean, look, here's what fear says. Fear says, "Oh my gosh, what if? What if?" But faith and courage says, even if, right? Two different perspectives. What if? And the other side of the fear side, what if? What if it this? What if I don't do this? What if it goes wrong? What if he does this or she says that? Or what if it goes right? What if it goes fantastic? Number one, but number two, faith says, even if. So you have this potential problematic maybe situation sort of kind of could come up, but because it maybe happened in the past and you're consumed with it now. And somebody with faith says, even if it comes up, even if it happens, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be fine. Because we have a tendency as human beings just to manufacture problems that just haven't happened yet. Things like, "Oh, man, we need Trump back in office, man, or we're in big trouble." Um, you know, uh, if we don't hit our number, people around here are gonna get fired, or, "Man, if I try my own podcast or try to maybe launch my own business, it may fail, or I'll be embarrassed, and I'll waste all this money on equipment and blah, blah, blah." Look, some of these may be potential truths, depending on your belief system, but they haven't happened yet. You're worried about what if you start your own business and it failing, you hadn't even started it yet, but you've already created this whole problem. Look, in the end, the universe, God Almighty, life gives us plenty of problems to already handle and solve. Stop dwelling on problems that don't currently exist. Don't look for more problems. You don't need to keep looking for more. Look for some good. Don't look for some problems. Okay, number 5. This is the one that I shared with you earlier is straight kick my ass, and I will concede I'm guilty as charged, and it has to end. I'm telling you to stop, and I have no choice. I need to stop. This is stop eating like crap until it's too late. And I'm not trying to shit on you guys. Look, I'm not talking at you guys, man. I love you guys. I'm encouraging. I'm trying to inspire you to think differently. Just trip a trigger. I don't know what. But in some of the things we talk about, like this is massively important. I just got some blood work back, and quite frankly, it's awful. It's awful. On the outside, I don't look fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I'm not lean and ripped and shredded by no means, by no means whatsoever. You would think I look halfway healthy, and when I'm in the gym, activity-wise, I can still move. I'm not 25, getting close to 50 here, but I can still move and lift some weight. Okay. But I got my blood work back, my internals, not good, not good. Again, stop eating like crap. And what I mean by that is think about the sugars, the caffeines. Look, the sugar, caffeine, all that creates is more anxiety and depression. You consume all this sugar, which is damn near in everything you eat, and most of it's self-induced with like maybe candies, snacks, which I was a huge problem for me. But consuming all that energy and not burning it off, going to the gym or rolling on the mat or, whatever the case may be, man, you just start to store all that stuff, right? And the problem is you just continue to eat what you want to eat. And the reason why you eat what you want to eat is because you had the ability to do so for so many years, whatever that looks like. Some of you may not, maybe you've had some scenarios where you had to watch what you eat. But the days of eating what you want to eat, if you're smart, I'm telling you to stop eating like crap. Never do we ever most people look at the labels on the food. Man, you go to the supermarket. Look, my partner is all about like perfection when it comes to the internal side of her body, and physically she looks fantastic. Right, internally, I would think she'd look fantastic, but to her, in some of the blood work that she's done, she's had a fervent desire and has been looking at labels as long as I've known her. She's always just kind of watched. She's never really been poor, in my opinion, as far as the eating. Um, but she's on a whole nother level, man, and I'm chasing. Like, she is on a whole nother level, and I'm way behind, and I have a lot of work to do, but looking at labels is one thing. Never looked at a label. If you look at a label, let me give you a great example. I'm holding in my hand some Green Wise Publix chicken. Everybody wants to grill some chicken. That's a healthy meal, right? Grill some chicken, get a baked potato, whatever the case may be. Let me give you something that you need to look at when you look at a label. Okay, you look at the fat grams, you multiply the fat grams by 9 and divide it by the total calories, and that tells you how much fat, real, raw, relevant, hit fat is in what you're about to consume. And I've got in my hand Greenwise Publix chicken drumsticks. By the way, drumsticks and thighs, super fatty. Chicken breast is obviously always the best. 10 grams of fat times 9 is 90, divided by 170, which is a serving size. 53% of a drumstick is fat, but it's grilled chicken. Here's my point. My point is, don't stop eating grilled chicken, and don't not enjoy drumstick. My point is, we got to start looking at these things, right? Look at the labels. Look at the labels. How much fat content is in the label? This is I didn't like this is something I learned. I'm looking at. I have no choice. My blood work's awful. I got to get moving, right? What does it matter that you learn how to create a physically fit body and you make all this money and but you die when you 53 years old? What does it matter? Guys, when I'm telling you stop eating like crap until it's too late, what I'm telling you is I'm encouraging you, when you get blood work back and a doctor says, "Hey, bro, we need to slow this thing down, man. You got high blood pressure, man. You got high cholesterol, man. You got some issues going on. You got cardiovascular disease potentially. You got some real issues going on, man." All right. And again, I'm just trying to help you understand that stop eating like crap is a vital piece. There are so much chemicals in food. You go into a supermarket, look, even Whole Foods, some of these better places have better quality of food, but there are chemicals in everything. I never even paid a lick of attention, could care less. And I'm encouraging you, there's barely anything you consume that doesn't have shit in it, okay? I mean, and when you eat that stuff, that processed food, all those things that we've gotten away with for so many years, affects your energy levels, your sleep, I mean, your testosterone, the inner lining of your gut gets eroded, you get bad gut health, you're in real bad shape, right? So again, don't be like me, where I would pray my body would be some kind of great chemist to separate all the damn uh, chemicals out of energy drinks I would consume or alcohol that I consumed, and just pray that I'm going to be fine. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Not only is liquor and alcohol and those things poison, but the foods we put in our body is probably as bad or worse. Sugar is bad news. Bad news for the body. Poison. Okay. Again, number 5, stop eating like crap, okay? Stop eating like crap. Last one, number 6. Here's the vital one as we land this plane. Stop being the supporting actor, okay? Look at it like this, your life is like a book. It's a movie, it's a book, however you wanna call it. But we need to take back the pen and start writing the future chapters of our life story. Look at your life as of right now. Boom, right now, up to this point and go backwards and look at the successes, the failures, the wins, the losses, the ups, the downs, the peaks, the valleys. Measure those. What have you learned from those? What could you have changed from those? Would you change anything of those? Would you keep them all the same for growth purposes? Are you grateful for everything that you've gone through? Period. Now we look forward. Now we say, I want to create something different. I want to create something in my life different. I wanna write some chapters. I want to be more thorough in my thinking and in my mindset. I mean, again, are you spectating and watching the game happen to you, or are you actually physically getting in the game, making some plays to affect the score of your life? How many W's you got? You throwing a few L's in the L column? We've all got some wins and losses. All of us do. But the good news is we can rewrite the story, we can rewrite the chapters whenever we take back the pen. We just take back the pen and start figuring out exactly what we want. Stop focusing on what we don't want and start focusing on what we want. If you're the supporting actor in your movie, then basically you're being told what to do, be, or have by others. That's just the bottom line. You only have so much time on this go around. All of us, right? I'm 49. If the good Lord gives me till I'm 80, that's 31 more years. In a blink of an eye, that'll go, right? I hope I can live to 100, at least you know what I'm saying. But the point is I've only got one go around, man. This experience is one time. I got this experience just one time. And look, I close with this. At the end of your movie, when the credits roll, will it say you were supporting actor number 3, or will it say you were the main character? You were the star, baby. You were the star. Look, if nobody has told you you're amazing, let me tell you you're amazing. Has no one told you that I love you or that they love you? I'm gonna tell you that I love you. I think you got everything it takes to be special, to be great. If you're listening to this podcast, you obviously want content and information that inspires, motivates, educates, and influences your behavior, your decisions, and what your outcomes are going to be. Hopefully, we're all driven to be spiritually sound, physically sound, mentally sound, relationally sound, right? We want to make sure we take care of our bodies, our internal bodies, like we talked about today. Look, guys, I hope when I share with you what to stay away from. Those 6 things, again, they're just thought starters for you to go back. If you're driving, listen to this, man, listen to it again and get pen and paper out. Write some take a note or 2, right? Be a student of life. Be a student of life. I know grade school and secondary education is over with for you, and college maybe for some of you guys, and your master's may be done as well. And you got to get that education, but there's nothing more important than a life education, right? And so what we talk about is we talk about business, sales, leadership, and life's lessons. Listen, until next week, thank you so much again for listening to the Louie Herron podcast. I am Louie Herron, and if you like what you heard, please share it with somebody else. Help them get maybe a little motivation, a little inspiration, a little something that gets them going to help them on their journey. And until next week, guys, we'll see you on the Louie Herron podcast.